UFC 316 takes place this weekend, and here is a breakdown of the entire card in less than 10 minutes. I'll still be showing you my past week's performance. We were terrible. But alas, it is UFC 316 fight week, and we're going to break down and predict every fight on the card. I'm looking at the card there. I'm looking at the card here. Let's get into it. First fight of the night, Khaos Williams takes on Andreas Gustafsson, and we're going to take Khaos Williams, minus 200 favorite. I think he's going to get the KO early. You know, Andreas cutting weight back-to-back weeks. That's never a good sign. Khaos has nuclear power, and he has way more UFC experience, and he's the one fighter in this matchup that is on a full fight camp for this fight. Khaos Williams has shown holes in his grappling, but Gustafsson, 34 years old. I look back at the tape. He's not really an active wrestler. He's more just trying to clinch you and get knees and elbows in the clinch. Khaos Williams, I think, is going to take advantage of Gustafsson's lack of striking defense and KO him in round one. Next up, we got Marquel Mederos taking on Choinski. This is a short notice matchup. Marquel Mederos has quite a few fighters get replaced here. However, I'm still taking Marquel Mederos, minus 250. I think he's going to get the round 2 KO. Choinski, he is mainly a wrestler, but he gasses out badly when he decides to utilize wrestling fully. He's also a wrestler that chooses to stand up way too often for my liking. He doesn't really have the greatest stand-up. It seems every fight I've watched back that where he is standing, he is losing the exchanges. It's not until he starts wrestling where he looks to be a big favorite. So in this matchup, Mederos has fought similar guys already. He's more well-rounded than Choinski. I think he's going to knock out Choinski. I think Choinski might, go all in on takedowns in the first round, gas himself out. Mederos finds the chin in the second round with a big knee. Next up, we got Quillan Salkilld taking on Yanal Ashmouz, and we're going to take the big favorite here, Quillan Salkilld, minus 450. I think he's going to win a decision. I was tempted to pick Yanal Ashmouz, but the thing is, he's just way too small. Yanal Ashmouz has a 5+ reach disadvantage. He's going to be a few inches shorter than Quillan as well. Quillan has struck me so far as a super well-rounded guy. He has power in his hands. He can get KOs on the feet, and he has submission finishing ability on the ground if it gets there. He also is an active wrestler. He shoots multiple takedowns in the fight. Yanal Ashmouz, in this fight, for him to win, he would have to go for infinite takedowns and maybe clip Quillan in the feet. So I think the odds of those things happening are pretty unlikely. So we're going to take Quillan Salkilld. Also, if you look at Salkild's record, prior to the UFC, he was fighting like 4-1, 5-1, 6-1 guys. So he already had a pretty built resume heading into the UFC, taking Salkilld to win by decision. Next up, we got Azamat Murzakanov taking on Brendson Ribeiro. Azamat Murzakanov is my first lock of the card. This is a new thing we're doing. I don't think there's a way Murzakanov loses. Ribeiro is the chinniest light heavyweight on the roster. Azamat has beaten way better guys than Brendson up until this point already, including Alonzo Menefield, who he KO'd clean. And Azamat has Mac Trust for fist. Brendson Ribeiro is way too reckless for my liking to trust in this matchup. He would have to shoot for infinite takedowns to even have a chance here. And Murzakanov has pretty good takedown defense as well. So we're going to take Murzakanov, lock to KO Brendson Ribeiro in the very first round. Next up, we got Ju Sang-Yu taking on Jeka Seragih. We're going to take Ju Sang-Yu, minus 500 favorite. I watched back some tape. It is a little questionable. He hasn't fought really anyone that's good at all. So there is a warning label here because, Jeka Seragih, even though he's really mid, he lost to Jubilee by finish. He lost to Weston Wilson by finish. He does have power in his hands. So if he lands a big shot on you, I wouldn't be surprised to see him knock him out early. But other than a flash knockout in the first round, I think Ju Sang-Yu wins this by any means necessary. He has good grappling, good wrestling, and he has pretty decent striking, and he has pretty good power in his hands. He should beat Jeka Seragih here, other than as Jeka Seragih random spinning back fist KO in round 1. So we're going to take Ju Sang-Yu to win by decision. So we got Serghei Spivak taking on Waldo Cortes-Acosta. This is a pretty close matchup, but honestly, at the end of the day, I'm going to take Serghei Spivak to win by decision. He is the minus 130 favorite. Up until this point, I have yet to pick an underdog, so keep that in mind as we progress. Serghei Spivak, I think he's a huge step up for Waldo. You look at Waldo's resume, it's not really that good. Robelas to Spain, he was the underdog, and he was able to outwork him, outgrapple him. He's not going to be able to outgrapple Spivak in this matchup. Ryan Spann, he was making his move from light heavyweight to heavyweight in a very strange career move. I'm not really sure what he was doing there. And Waldo knocks him out. I don't think Waldo really possesses anything that's crazy. He doesn't really have crazy power in his hands. And he doesn't really have crazy jiu-jitsu skills on the mat. So I think Spivak, who has elite grappling, he is elite at something in MMA. I think he will go to that in this matchup, out-wrestle Cortes-Acosta, make him look like a fish on the ground, because at the end of the day, Marcos Rogerio de Lima made Cortes-Acosta look like a fish on the ground. So if he's able to do that, I think Spivak should, and he should win by decision. So we got Ariane, Lipski, de Silva taking on Cong, Wang. I've basically faded Cong, Wang in every single fight, but I think I'm done. Cong, Wang is going to win this one. She's a minus 360 favorite. I think she gets it done in a round 2 KO fashion. She has crazy power for the division. She has good volume. And lately, she's been showing that she has wrestling that she can go to if needed, and her grappling chops aren't horrific. Ariane Lipski de Silva, if she actively wrestled more, I might trust her more in this matchup to win by sub, but she's just super chinny. If you look back at her resume, she's getting dropped by fighters in WMMA that should not be dropping you. Priscilla Cachoeira got her with a round 1 knockout. If Priscilla Cachoeira can do that, I think Cong Wang should have no problem, so I think I'm going to take Cong Wang to win this by a finish. By KO in the second round. Next up, we got Bruno Silva taking on Joshua Van. I'm going with Joshua Van, minus 550 favorite. Bruno Silva, he does have power in his hands. He has a lot of knockdowns for a flyweight. But then again, Van is finally not at a reach disadvantage. He's usually the way smaller fighter, but in this one, he's going to be like equal size to Bruno Silva. And he's going to be the way more technical striker, way cleaner striker. I think he's going to have more power than Bruno Silva as well. Bruno Silva does shoot takedowns and such, but we've seen Van up at this point deal with takedowns well. You know, he destroyed Cody Durden, who's a takedown threat. He destroyed Ray Cerullo, who's a takedown threat. The only way Bruno Silva wins is by a flash knockout, just by winging shots. And I don't think that's going to work against Joshua Van. We're going to take Joshua Van minus 550 to win this by decision. Next up, we got Mario Bautista taking on Patchy Mix. I've been back and forth on this fight, but ultimately, I'm going to be taking Mario Bautista, who's plus 145. This is the first underdog pick on the entire card for me. He's just way better at MMA than Patchy Mix. He's a better striker. He's a better clincher. He might not be a better grappler, but he's better at blending the martial arts more than Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix, if he can't get takedowns, he loses the round. I've watched back some Patchy Mix fights. You know, he's a good finisher. He has great grappling, great BJJ. But ultimately, if the takedowns don't work for Patchy Mix, he will lose the round. He is not a good striker. Ultimately, Mario faced Damon Blackshear, who's similar to Patchy Mix, made clean work of him. It was a very close decision, but he still beat him. He still out-grappled Damon Blackshear. And there is a slight chance that Bautista can out-grapple Patchy Mix as well. So I'm going to take the better MMA fighter, the guy who has the UFC experience, and Mario Bautista to win by decision. Next up, we got Vicente Luque taking on Kevin Holland. We're going to do back-to-back underdogs. We're taking Vicente Luque plus 220 to win by decision against Kevin Holland. And it comes down to a couple factors. Kevin Holland has gust of wind takedown defense. If you wanted to get a takedown on Kevin Holland, you will get the takedown. It's pretty much that simple. And Luque has shown in recent fights that he's willing to utilize an all-takedown type of game plan. And then also, in his last fight, Kevin Holland was the underdog against Gunnar Nelson, who hadn't fought in over a year. Very one-dimensional grappler. But now he's the minus 250 favorite against Luque, who in theory is a better wrestler, better grappler than Gunnar Nelson, and is more well-rounded than a Gunnar Nelson. Vicente Luque should win this if he utilizes takedowns, should win this if he doesn't get into a firefight with Kevin Holland. So Vicente Luque to win by decision. Next up, Kelvin Gastelum taking on Joe Pyfer, and we're taking Joe Pyfer. He's another lock on the card for me. I think can win this by any means necessary. Gastelum doesn't take his career seriously, doesn't take weight cutting seriously. Pyfer hits like a truck. He's shown levels in his ground game. He trains with Sean Brady, so he should have some type of submission threat. Sean Brady also submitted Kelvin Gastelum, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Pyfer utilize a grappling-heavy game plan in this fight. And I think if he does get it to the ground, I think Gastelum is just there to get subbed. Gastelum might have an iron chin, and, you know, he might be good at volume, but those things fade as you get older. Kelvin is getting older. Joe Pyfer is in the prime of his career. Joe Pyfer wins this any means necessary. I'm going to take the gamble on him to secure a submission. Next up, we got the co-main event. Juliana Pena taking on Kayla Harrison. We're going with Kayla Harrison, minus 600 favorite. I think it's pretty simple. I think she's just on PEDs. And if you're on PEDs, you seem to perform better. It literally enhances your performance. Pena is also a BJJ nerd sometimes. You know, if Kayla were to get a takedown, I wouldn't be surprised to see Pena fish for arm bars for the entire time on her back while she's getting pounded out. And ultimately speaking, I think Kayla needs to finish this early if she were to win. I think she gets to take down the first round, ground and pounds Pena. Pena looks tired, bloody. You know, Harrison gets the takedown in the second round almost immediately. Ground and pounds her out. Wins by TKO. And then the main event, we got MERAB Dvalishvili taking on Sean O'Malley. And we're going with Sean O'Malley, plus 230 underdog. I'm going to take him to win by decision. I rewatched the first fight, and honestly, MERAB was kind of toying with him the entire fight. It was MERAB domination. But if we're being real, O'Malley was the favorite in that fight. He's now plus 230. The line is way too wide in my opinion. And the fight was kind of close. Whenever it stayed standing, O'Malley was winning. And whenever MERAB was getting the grappling done, he was winning. Thing is, though, MERAB doesn't necessarily shoot for takedowns early. Sometimes he waits 2, 3, even 4 minutes to shoot a takedown in the round. And he'll think he'll have won the round because he finishes on top. But ultimately speaking, if O'Malley lands more damage on the feet before the takedown success happens, O'Malley can win by decision. I'm seeing a lot of people saying O'Malley is knockout or bust. I don't think that's the case. I think O'Malley could technically win a points decision battle if he just keeps it standing for a good amount of it. O'Malley also said he had injuries in his last fight, so I'm kind of trusting that he's fully healthy after getting labrum surgery. Also can't trust MERAB at minus 300. He's been an underdog in every fight. Now he's minus 300. I'm getting Bilal flashbacks. So we're going to take Sean O'Malley to win by a route that a lot of people aren't saying, decision.